So you'd, if we're basically going to compile our entire reel for this class, and that includes the props that you made and your final character and the animation for the final character. So we're going to get a little bit of all of those in the into the mix. So make sure that when you're about to play blast your scene, you have whatever settings you want in your like in your Maya file. So like I don't want to see a bunch of these multicolored curves, right? So you're gonna need to go into show and turn off curves so I can just see the raw animation. And then you guys have environments. I didn't set up an environment for this, but you'd have your environment in there. You'd also want to probably turn off this annoying little grid that shows up there. I mean, it's very nice when you're modeling, just to know where you are in 3D space, but let's turn that off for the preview. And furthermore, you can adjust some viewport 2.0 renderer things, or renderer sort of parameters in here. So if you go to motion blur, you can enable that, and then it will try to do some. So notice how that sword in there is getting a little bit blurred when it's being swung, you know. And also notice how slow the scene goes now. So just know that it's going to take a little bit longer to do this, but it's not anywhere near as long as actually rendering out the scene, which I'm going to go into a little bit today as well, but it's not necessary for the final project, so I don't want you guys to melt your computers. And then you can also enable anti-aliasing. It's probably hard to see over this video quality call, or this video call quality, but like you're gonna see the little rigid pixels in your mesh, like on these edges and like pretty much on the edges of things, and when things like overlapping, it's just your classic anti-aliasing problems. So if you enable multi-sample anti-aliasing, it's gonna give it a nicer appeal there, and nicer video quality to end it out. And then let's see, okay. So I would then go to my Play Blast options again after I close these settings. And then you can just browse for a movie file. You can make sure it's at 1920 by 1080. And if you have the H.264 encoder, which I, for some reason, do not right now, use that because it's nice and light. It'll make a lightweight video. Keep quality at 100 and keep scaling at 1, because if you scale this down to 0.5, it's going to make your video not 1080p, but a 540 video, which isn't HD or anything. So let's keep scaling at 1, 1920 by 1080. And I believe save to file is off by default, so it doesn't let you do any of this. It'll just make a default sort of video. I would instead like to have some control over it and be like, mic animation final. And then you can browse in there and make sure it appears in the correct spot on your computer. I'm going to go to my desktop and do this in course materials. And I'm just going to do, yeah, mic animation final. There we go. So then you're gonna see that entire file extension in there, and then you can just play blast. And it's gonna take a little bit. And this might seem slow, but this is nowhere near as slow as rendering, because when we render something, we have to shoot like thousands of rays of light across the scene and calculate how it bounces off every surface. But yeah, so now you can see that that it's got a little bit of that blur in there, it's pretty nice for those fast motions. It really like kind of sells it better. It makes it look like a smear frame. But yeah, so that's super awesome. So then that's one sort of play blast for it. If you have an action like that and it's just no camera in the scene, it's kind of short, feel free to rotate the camera and get it at a different angle. So if we start it in here, and then I right click and go to Play Blast Options, and then do Final 2, or let's do Final Angle 2, and then Play Blast. I'm just gonna just chug through this for a little bit. So yeah, there we go. Also, if you want to spice up these sort of play blasts with a little bit of a light, then feel free to. You can go into Create, Lights. You can do directional, point, whatever you want, and then you just press 7 to see it. So right now my directional light, if I scale it up, you can see that it's in here. You won't be getting shadows or high quality shadows. You can use like a little trick to get some cheap shadows in there, but it's not necessary for this project. But if you were rendering it out, if you want to do like a high quality image anyways, I would say just do my rendering method that I'm going to show in a little bit, and I have videos online of that as well. But yeah, so you can spice that up any way that you like. And then let me make sure that I have my both my play blast. Yep, there they are. So I got 2 of them right there. Very cool, very cool. And so the animation portion of the model or of the classes is then already captured, and it's ready to put into Premiere with these 2 files that I've created. So now I'd like to see your character. I'd like to get like a close-up of the character, because depending on your scene, you might not get very close to the model, it might be kind of far away. And then, so what I'd also like is, let me go in here and delete a lot of these keys. Nah, I'm just not going to save it. Okay. I'm going to select all these keys and deselect this. And I'm going to make sure that it's keyed right there. And I just want like a nice pose of your character, right? So I just want one pose, and I would turn off all of these curves again. And I'd turn off my lights as well, so they don't appear in there. So you have your character model, whatever you made for the class. And I'd like you to just pose them. And you can either take a picture of them, or like just a screen grab of this. Or what's also pretty fun, and I think I just saw a new tool in Maya that kind of helps with this as well. We'll see if it works. You can go up to, if you're in your animation menu, you can go to Visualize, Create Turntable, and this number of frames is how it's basically going to make it like have a little camera that like rotates around your character. I'm kind of feeling like something like 5 seconds might be nice. So if you do, it'd be based on like whatever your frame rate is. Normally I'm at 30, but I think I might have just reset that recently. So you do basically 24 times 5. So 20 times 5 would be wait. Yeah. Okay, and then clockwise, counterclockwise. Yeah. So 20 times 5, and then 4 times 5. But you can just do whatever frame amount you want. Let's try 300, and let's click turntable on this bad boy, and let's see, does this work now? Turntable Cam. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry, this is a new tool I haven't really used very much. I just saw it when I was going through the options last week. But it's kind of a nice, simple way to get like a little rotation around your character, and notice how it's kind of smoothly going around the character like that, and it kind of just eases out at the end. So what you can do is make a play blast of that then. So I would do my character after they're all posed up, and then you set up that turntable real quick. I would go in, change this file name, and let's do my character turntable, and then play blast. It's just cranking through that. I'd like to see the color on the model. So whatever texture you have on there, that'd be very important to show on this character. And that's finishing up there. And so you can see this. Hell yeah. Very nice, very nice. Oh, also, one thing, I have a lot of UI stuff on here as well. So if you could get rid of that, that'd be fantastic. You can always just go down to, in your show menu, like everything else that you can hide and unhide. You can unclick HUD, and you'll see that you just get the raw scene of the character in there. So yeah, so that's my, now I have my animation and my turntable of the character. Now I'd like to see whatever prop you made as well. So let's open up, let me just open up one of my other scenes with whatever prop that I made. Let's see, here, where it is, materials. Let me find where I saved this bad boy. Oh, okay. I'm not going to save that scene. Continue. So I have a few different lights in the scene, and they're doing some stuff, and I'll go with that in a little bit and make it a separate video. But I'm just going to disable that. And I have this sort of, it's basically like a photography studio set up in here, but I'm going to instead add that to a layer, then make that go away. And so this is my prop. And it might be fun to sort of set up a ground plane and just drag that out, or even a disk as well, like this. I'm just clicking that up here. You can also find it in your create polygon primitives. And so I'm just scaling that up. And I'm just gonna make a cube and have it sort of just rest against that cube, right? Just to give it some space in there. If you want to completely get rid of that, because we are going to be doing a turntable, it'd be nice to see the object itself like that too. So I'm down for you to do whatever you wish there. I'm going to go in and turn off lights so I don't see those anymore. And I'm going to turn off that grid as well, and same with the HUD. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to use that same turntable thing. So visualize, create turntable, go into options. I like that 300 setting is pretty good. Let's try 200 though, just for sake of time. It's 200 clockwise. Boom, turntable. And then let's see. Should be good to go, I believe. Just need to drag this out to 200, and I just entered 200 into this bottom box right there, so we can see it. And there we go. Make sure you deselect whatever object it is. That way you don't have that nasty wireframe over it. And you could press 7 to see the lights in your scene like that, whatever you wanted. But like I said before, that's for more sort of like a rendering thing. Since we're not going to make rendering a requirement because I don't want to like mess with your guys' computers, feel free to bypass that. And then same options as before, 1920 by 1080, scale 1:1. And then if you have the encoder, H.264, browse for that same file, because I just loaded a new scene. So if I go into desktop, course materials, and mic, prop, render. And so that's in there now, and we can just play blast. And let's see that. Okay, cool stuff, cool stuff. Yeah, so there we go. We have the prop in there as well. If you had a different model for your first model and then your colored model, I know a lot of you did. Like you made that first model and you're like, I'm done with that. It's old news. I'm going to color up a new model. So I would ideally like a turnaround of both of those. So you'd go into the other file and then do that as well. But if you colored that one, then just feel free to just submit that one, because you'd see like a colored version and like a non-colored version, and it'd be kind of lame. So yeah, get both of those in there. And then what else we got going on here? So we have our animation, and we got 2 different angles of it. The 2 different angles it's not completely necessary, but it's nice for the audiences to see like multiple angles of it. And ideally, I'd like to see a camera actually in the scene, and you doing something with that camera, because that's where a lot of the directorial sort of stuff comes from. So it's nice to get the camera changes so much of the scene itself. So I'd like you to get that ideally. Let's see. So then we have those, and we have our turnaround for the character, and then the prop render. So we have essentially everything that we've needed to see so far in the class. And then you just go into Premiere or whatever editing software you have. I'm just going to pop open Premiere. Apparently I'm not going to pop open. Oh, there you go. And my computer's probably dying because it's trying to stream everything to you guys and do all this stuff. Let's make sure that I'm still capturing. Yeah. So let's do new project. Let's just do class final. Boom. Okay. So I'd like to first drag all my files in there. Look at how fat these AVIs are. It's insane. That's what H.264 encoding really helps with, is shrinking that file size down. But when I export from here, it wouldn't be too bad either. But yeah, so it'd be really cool to usually when you're making like a reel, you want to start with you kind of want to start with the spiciest thing you got. So I'm just dragging in my animation for the character. Oh yeah, my computer is definitely gonna be dying. It's like not even updating in here. Oh no. Well, a lot of you have experience in this as well, but yeah. So I would start with my animated scenes. Unfortunately, I can't really show you in real time because my computer is. Oh, it's trying. Oh, it's trying so hard. Oh, poor computer. All right. Well, so basically, you just drag in your clips. Boom, bang, right there, and then get that turnaround as well. And then I'm just going to put the prop in last, and I would drag these out and kind of put like a little you can usually do like a blank slate in here. You kind of just do that nice like title scene, that title card for your thing. So it'd be nice to see your name. I want to see your name on that. And the class is a little bit redundant because that's going to be at the beginning of the reel as well. But yeah, just your name, and if you have a title of it, then that'd be great. But yeah, put that at the start, and then it'll just go through the rest of the clips here. Okay, we got some playback going. Oh yeah. And then yeah, download any sort of audio that you want. Make it not copyrighted material though, because like someone did like Katy Perry's Firework song on their last reel, and it was I immediately got a copyright strike on my YouTube when I had to to upload it to send over. It was pretty tragic. But yeah, try to find something that's not copyrighted, and then put that in there as an audio track down here, and then just file, export media, and then you'll get that scene out of there, and that's the video that you turn into me as the final. If you do end up using one of those pre-built character rigs, and if you did go through the trouble of rigging and skinning your character, in order to get complete credit, please also send me over your Maya file of your rigged character. That'd be the best way, so I could see that, because part of the grade of all this is that your character is skinned to that skeleton, right? So it would be, if you want to use one of those other rigs, I still need to see that you did the skinning work. If you're going for full credit for that. But yeah, so well, you have a list of everything needed for the reel somewhere. I believe, is this also exported as an MP4? Yes, that'd be, MP4s are amazing. Please export MP4s. Whenever I get AVIs, it takes forever to download because they're, as you saw, that like small clip was just so huge. As I was importing those into here, I think it was like 1 gig from that just completely gray video. Like AVIs have terrible file sizes. Probably they have to be benefiting from it somehow, though. I think that so it's okay if we turn in a play blast for final. Yes, that's what I was saying that a few weeks back, that I'm not going to be forcing everyone to render out their scenes, because rendering, if you might even be able to hear my computer when it starts rendering, because like that's how hard these computers start working, because it has to do so many calculations for that stuff. So like if not everyone has like the ideal work setup right now, so it would be unfair of me to be like, yeah, you got to render out your scene. Too bad it takes you, the one with like the worst computer, like 20 hours longer to render out a scene, and your computer might break and shit could go wrong. So like these play blasts, I think, are the ideal way to do this. Animation file as well, or is it just the Premiere Pro MP4? Literally, as I was saying before, only the if it's your character that you created, your own character, just submit that MP4 with the character animation, the prop, and the character turnaround as well. The play blasts of those compiled together in that reel. That'd be great. By prop, do you mean what we made at the start of class? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's the one. Also, if you want to include your ball bounce, feel free to kind of pad out that time to make it a little bit longer if you're proud of what you've done there. But yeah, so it's just the MP4 if it's your own character that you've animated. However, if you went with one of my online rigs and animated with that, and then also did the skinning work, because remember, if you skip the skinning process and just did the character model and then grabbed the rig from online, then you're going to get a little bit penalized for that. But if you still went through the trouble of skinning your character, but then you looked at your character and I just want to animate something else and grab one of those other rigs, I'll still need to see that Maya file, right, of that skinned character to give you full credit. Like I don't want to penalize you for switching to those rigs if you still did all the rigging and skinning work for your character. But that's a fringe case. Not many people have contacted me saying that they wanted to do that. Only a couple. So it's probably won't apply to most of you, but yeah. And I'm gonna stop my recording of that.